Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. We got a few bits of news here for today's video. The big one is going to be the Summon Rush. We now know the champions and they're very, very good. Not over here, it's in the events tab. This one, very, very good. We'll also be talking about a couple of champion rebalances that were announced yesterday, but I was out with my friends in the pub, so I didn't get to do a video on it yesterday. I'll give some quick thoughts on those as well. Half my friends are secondary school teachers. That's what we went to college for. So, yeah, July and August, that's when they've got time. So, yeah, we were out for the day, which was nice. Yeah, also, before we dive into anything, I just want to touch on this. Absolutely crazy. I don't know if you guys saw, but the biggest CVC battle of all time, Imperium versus Gods and Legends. Absolutely crazy stuff. Really crazy stuff. 168 million. They won by 15 million, but man, they were neck and neck for ages. Coming up into even the last 2 or 3 hours, like they were almost the exact same points. It was crazy. So just an insane battle right there. Nuts. I'm sure Plarium themselves are very happy, but I was watching some streams and stuff from the players like Chryson. Really good stream. Up and coming CC for sure, and he's like, we're having a great time, you know. But this is the first time we've ever had this huge battle, and it's kind of fun. So yeah, it was quite something to see. Let's look at the Summon Rush event though for what is coming up Friday, the 2nd of August. It's a good one, guys. So for the legendaries, Newt, Aestrid, Queen Eva, Lady Kimmy, Herndig. For the Void legendaries, Georgid and Shuzen. For the epics, Allure, Deacon, Mordecai, Maneater, and Ursula. It's insane. This is a fantastic event. I feel like this is a really good Summon Rush because people are probably not crazy hyped about the Fusion. That's my impression. The Fusion, he's not super exciting. He's good. He's a good Hydra damage dealer, but he's not exciting. He's not exciting. We do have a couple of former, I would say, exciting fusions in here. So Newt's a big one. In fact, I don't want to do it in red. Let's do it in green just to highlight. So Newt, absolutely super high priority. If you don't have a Newt, he is a game changer. Unbelievable. The triple hit enemy max HP move rips through so many bosses in the game. He's like the ultimate boss killer. And his A1 triple hit is insane for Fire Knight Hard as well. He opens up so many teams. I've got 2 Newts. Even if you got one, a second Newt is lovely. Maybe not so important with Marius or if you got a Krizia or whatever, but still pretty nice. It's still pretty good. So yeah, Newt, that's a big, big win. Aestrid is good as well. Aestrid, great fusion. I actually think in terms of Hydra, like Scarred he's good. He's very good, right? Aestrid, I think, is better. Aestrid is the best Hydra fusion, I would say, probably for this year. She just brings so much utility that's hard to replace. Quite easy to replace Scarred in a team. He's just really doing hex and damage. Very easy to replace. Aestrid brings so much utility that's very hard to replace. So she's been super valuable. Queen Eva, I think she's decent with a block revive. Lady Kimmy, I think, is quite nice as well. Again, with Siege, especially. I think she comes back into sort of the PvP meta a decent bit with Siege. And will do well whenever we get more of this Feral set. That's my concern with the Feral set. It might take so long to build up the Feral set. I don't know. It's one of the things with Scarred, actually, I would say. Scarred, because he's very good at applying Hex. Okay, he's great at applying Hex. Really good at it. Well, we could swap champions out of Cursed Gear into like 9-piece Protection or 9-piece Feral, which are both huge upgrades. So, for instance, let's say Chris could be a great example, or Lydia. Maybe I've got Lydia out of the vault. Yeah, Lydia, I've got her in Curse right now. She's brilliant in either 9-piece Protection or 9-piece Feral. So you could ditch Curse sets. It's an advantage. It's sort of, these new sets are sort of bringing Hex back as a more valuable debuff, whereas for a good chunk of time, Cursed was really the only valuable supportive set in Hydra. So you might as well just run Cursed on your supports for a few months there. That being said, it's going to take so long to get Feral. I don't know. by the time you've got people actually in 9-piece Protection, 9-piece Feral, you probably have much better champs than Scarred. It's one of those things. Herndig is decent as well. Lots of AoEs on the Dwarf. Very good for Dark Fae. He's got turn meter reduction. He's good for lots of Doom Tower bosses. Good for farming Nightmare campaign. He's fine. I definitely think Newt is the winner by far. And then I'd say probably Aestrid and Kimmy are the other ones. I think Queen Eva and Herndig are a bit more niche, though they do have good stuff. Queen Eva is block revive in arena, can be quite good for that. And Herndig for, yes, or Nightmare Campaign, Dark Fae, that sort of thing. For the Void legendaries, Georgid and Shuzen, both great. Shuzen, I'd probably give, I don't know, it's a tough one. Shuzen is obviously insane for Trunda teams. Georgid is really good as well. I give maybe Shuzen a slight edge here. She brings so much turn meter control, the instant turn effect. Yeah, really, really nice. Georgid is just massive, massive attack-based damage. I think he's probably second best after Siegfried, but Georgid he's nuts as well. So just crazy damage. I don't know. Maybe Georgid. You know what? I'm gonna put them equal. I don't know. I don't know which one is better. Georgid is sort of the king of speed farming arena because he just does so much damage so easily. And he can hit through Stone Skin, like he's not going to get blocked and slowed down by like an Ultimate Death Knight, like Siegfried very much slowed down by Ultimate Death Knight, for instance. They're both great, both very, very strong. And then we've got a brilliant set of epics. Of course, the epics are the things you're much more likely to get, right? If you're not a whale or a kraken and you're not pulling like hundreds of shards, you know, there's a very good chance you're not even going to get a legendary at all. And then, of course, this is just a progressive chance, so whatever, you're going to have like a 7% chance or 10% or some. I don't know the exact numbers. I haven't kept up to date. You still got a very low chance to actually get the champion you select. But the epics, you've got a good chance. You've got a decent chance to potentially get one. Allure, brilliant, great. Locks down Fire Knight normal, locks down Dark Fae. So any bosses with turn meter control, she's so good. So not good for Spider, I should say, because Spider, she'll hit the Spiderlings. But brilliant, epic. They did a guaranteed on her before, and I thought that was quite worthwhile. So that's really good. Deacon, also amazing. Mordecai, also amazing. AoE burns. Now, you might have Mordecai already. Lots of promo codes for him. But yeah, very good enabler for Rathalos Blade Master, for instance, who was a login champion earlier this year. You probably have him already. You don't need multiple copies of really any of them that much, to be honest. Deacon, turn meter control, super consistent decreased defense, AoE. All three of these are brilliant. And then Maneater and Ursula the Mourner, again, all brilliant. I will say, yeah, it's a tough one. I will say with Maneater, obviously you can build a really good ninja team. Now, if you have Wixwell, you probably don't need a Maneater. It's probably actually not very useful at all. It can be, you can use them sometimes. It can be decent in some arena. That can be a cool budget arena option. So you get unkillable block debuffs up, and if they don't have a buff strip, you can actually fight back against some tougher teams. Obviously, there's lots of legendaries that do that better, but he can be a good budget option. And of course, you've got the Maneater clan boss teams. With Wixwell, you probably don't need him. So there is that. But if you're brand new, you weren't there for Wixwell Fusion, well, you probably won't have any Void Shards, eh? But hey, Maneater, I think Maneater is good. Maneater is good. Got good turn meter control as well. Solid epic. I'll say it definitely could be worth pulling, but again, if you got Wixwell, clan boss team, you don't need the Maneater so much. Ursula the Mourner then is also excellent. Very good for Hydra, especially, I'd say, because she brings the AoE decrease attack with increased attack for your team, the AoE revive. Yeah, Ursula's really strong. And again, can be a good budget arena option for earlier game players. One of the better epic revivers, sort of like her and Godseeker. Tagore is quite good as well, but the two Void ones are probably the best ones. Ursula's main problem is she's a little bit squishy. She's a bit squishy, right? But she does have an insanely good AoE revive, albeit on a long cooldown. So look, we've got really good stuff. For me, personally, now, I've got this stuff already. So I do have 2 newts, so I wouldn't go for it. And I've got the others, except for Lady Kimmy. So Lady Kimmy, I'll probably put Lady Kimmy in, and I don't know. I guess I'll put Allure. Lady Kimmy Allure is probably what I would do. I will probably do Voids for this, though, myself. And I guess I'll be looking for duplicates of Ursula the Mourner. It's probably more useful late game than Maneater. I don't think either are super useful late game, honestly, but yeah. Either will probably get Ursula duplicates. Why not? And yeah, then Georgid or Shuzen. Oof, I'm not sure. I probably will pick Shuzen. But I don't know. Let me know. What would you do if you were me? I think I'll probably put in Shuzen Ursula, and I'll probably pull for that with Voids. That's also because of my shard situation. I've got a good chunk of extra Voids. I've got a few extra Sacreds, but not too many. I'm just going to be trying to do the minimum in this event anyway. So, yeah, I think that's sort of the plan. That's sort of the plan for me on that one. So yeah, we got some champion rebalances to look at now, but I do think it's actually a fantastic Summon Rush event. Really good champions, legendaries, epics, voids, regular shards. Yeah, it's good across the board, so quite a nice Summon Rush. I hope it's just not crazy points now. Aye, aye, aye. But we do have balance changes to a couple of champions, and actually could be fairly impactful. Lady of Irath is pretty cool with the following changes. So Lady of Irath, but just to touch on her first of all, definitely one of the worst legendaries in the game before this. This comes in, just a bit of protection and healing, and that's sort of it. Very, very underwhelming. Just a bit of healing and protection for your team. Really not much going on. Very underwhelming champion. Very much so. So she needed a lot of buffs. Let's see if they've achieved it. Well, apparently they're saying her kit will feel more impactful with significantly improved healing capabilities. Well, let's just look at the actual abilities. Mistwood Healing will still remove all debuffs from a target ally, heal them by 50% of Lady of Irath's max HP, and the heal can be critical. If they're not fully healed, puts block damage for 2 turns. If they are fully healed, fills their turn meter by 50%, and heals all allies equal to 50% of the surplus heal. That actually becomes very powerful. So before it was 40% of their max HP, now it's 50% of hers. Now she has solid base HP, and she doesn't need accuracy, so you're just going to be building her with speed and HP, and I guess you could do crit rate, seeing as the heal can crit. But yeah, that could be a massive heal and a massive burst heal for your team as well. I think that's actually a great move. Very good. It reminds me a lot of Woad Painted, like a supercharged Woad Painted. In fact, let's double check what Woad Painted does exactly. It might be almost exactly the same move. Let's have a look. So Woad Painted heals them by 100%, heals this champion by 100% of her max HP, heals all allies for 50% of the surplus. So maybe Woad would do more. But she heals herself and then heals the allies for half of her HP, basically, if she's full health. If she's not full health, interesting that. Yeah, so maybe not quite as strong as Woad, but maybe a bit easier to do. Rhythmic Strength then. Now this looked to me really good. So it's 25% strengthen, continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. Now also decreases the cooldown of all ally skills, except this champion, by 1 turn. That is phenomenal. That is actually really good. It's a game changer. And it's on a 3-turn cooldown. So a 3-turn cooldown move with 1 turn of cooldown reduction. Now, obviously, we've got full resets like Kaimar's, and Yumiko's almost always a full reset. They're their own thing. A 1-turn cooldown reduction, though, can be surprisingly useful. We've seen what Emic can do with decreasing cooldowns. Really, really nice. Even, what's her face? She gets used a good bit. Countess Lix gets used because she can decrease ally cooldown. So that's on a 5-turn. It's on a 5-turn. These things can be very powerful for setting up certain unkillable teams. Painkeeper, very similar. Setting up unkillable teams, like permataunt teams for Hydra, that sort of stuff. So I think this is the bigger change for her. Yeah, you've made her healing better, and that's nice. That's great. She was already fairly decent at healing. It's not a huge deal, I think. But this is a game changer. This opens up a lot of very unique compositions for Lady of Irath. So she actually becomes quite good for that sort of stuff. Quite good. There are, of course, alternatives, but yeah, sort of very much like again, what's Painkeeper's cooldown? I think it might be 5. It's a long one on Painkeeper. What is it? So no, 7 goes to 4. 4-turn cooldown on Painkeeper. So she is like a 3-turn instead of a 4-turn. You'd need different speed tunes, but there's so much potential there. So I think that is a massive buff. Lady of Irath, again, it's not the most insane thing ever, but again, there are going to be niche teams that you will be able to build with her now that, yeah, otherwise would not be available to you. Very few champions doing what she can do. The next champion getting an update then is Noble or Nobel. Or Nobel, I don't know. Have we ever decided, have we figured out how to say his name properly? I don't know. This champion has been, for a long time, considered one of the worst. He has been buffed before in the past. He's in sort of a weird spot where when enemies' turn meters were fully depleted, he could put a True Fear on them. He could do a bit of turn meter pushback and stuff like that. He's got a big, 2-turn cooldown. 2-turn cooldown, ignore defense move. But kind of awkward, very much relying on True Fears. Bit of an awkward champion to use. Well, let's see what they've done for him. I think a lot of people, you get Noble, you just feed him to your Ninja, because he's the champion to empower Ninja. Well, let's take a look. We're enhancing Noble's kit to expand his role beyond just a damage dealer, making him a more versatile crowd control champion. The changes will grant him greater control over his enemies with his signature Fear debuff, the ability to buff himself, turn meter manipulations, and a tricky passive can unexpectedly disrupt the enemy's composition. So, his A1 attacks one enemy, 40% chance to decrease the duration of 2 random buffs by 1 turn. If they're under Fear or True Fear, decreases the duration of all targets' buffs by 1 turn instead. So before it was a chance to decrease them, now it just does it, just straight up. I think that's just quite decent, right? Cool, great. It's his A1 though. He's got such short cooldowns, you're not going to use it very often, but it's nice, so not that big of a deal. Harbinger, his A2, damage increased, and then before attacking, gives himself increased attack for 2 turns. That's quite nice. So yeah, wait, actually they changed more than that from the looks of it. Oh no, they just readjusted the order of some things. Okay. So he attacks an enemy. This is a 2-turn cooldown. So 2-turn cooldown. And he gives himself 2 turns of increased attack. So permanent increased attack. No problem. Attacks one enemy. Ignores 30% defense. Gives him 25% turn meter after the attack as well. And reduce the cooldown of his A3 if the target's under Fear or True Fear. So that's still the same. Yeah. So great. He reduced the cooldown of his A3 if they're feared. It's just a big hit. They need to be under Fear, True Fear for the increased attack. That actually is a thing. Before attacking, if the target's under Fear, True Fear, gives them increased attack. So you still need them to be feared. Otherwise, it's only okay. But yeah, so that's cool. That's cool. I'm curious what the damage increase is going to be. It ignores defense. So this move actually has the potential to hit very hard. And it is on a very short cooldown, which is quite nice. Then Dismay. Attacks all enemies. 75% chance of stealing 50% of the target's turn meter. That's an AoE 50% steal. If this attack kills a target under Fear or True Fear, decrease the cooldown of Harbinger by 1 turn. Wow. So you can bring the 2-turn down to a 1-turn. So you can go like A2, A3, A2. That's kind of nuts. And then this is decreasing the cooldown of this move as well. Lots of synergy there. So before this was decreasing their turn meter, and then it would fill his turn meter if there were enemies under Fear or True Fear by the amount the enemies lose. Okay, now it's just a straightforward steal. Yeah, now it's just a straight up steal, and it reduces his A2 if he kills somebody. So it's less conditional. I think that's good. Just AoE steal. It's actually pretty powerful. It's obviously not as good as Arman's. He's sort of like a budget Arman's. Arman's, as we know, is kind of OP. He steals all of their turn meter and stuns them. That is insane. But Noble is going to come in now, and he will steal half. It's still pretty good. It's still probably enough to give him a turn pretty consistently to go AoE, steal half their turn meters, and then bam, smack somebody. And then he could be getting quite a bit of turn meter decrease from this as well, which is, quite a bit of cooldown reset, cycling through his skills pretty quickly. Yeah, like Arman's obviously has a lot stronger control, much stronger control, much stronger. But Arman's doesn't do any damage. This guy does. Desolation, the passive. Whenever an enemy's turn meter is reduced by any champion, has a 20% chance of putting Fear on that enemy for 1 turn. Okay. This does buff up. So 20. That goes up to a 45% chance. That's actually quite good as well. So when he does his AoE turn meter steal, it's almost a 50-50 to put a true... is it a true fear? No, it's just a normal fear. Just a normal fear. But yeah, because this bucks up to an extra 25%. Pretty sure still. That's actually pretty good. So you're getting those fears out. So fear, it gives you, I think it's a 50-50 to miss your turn. Which is strong. True fear, if you miss your turn, it puts your ability on cooldown. It's really bad. Fear is not so bad. This is really enabling him to do his other stuff, though. So, like, you come in. Okay, great. Bam. AoE turn meter steal with a decent chance to fear each enemy. And then you can come in. You can self-buff increase attack. You can decrease the cooldown of your turn meter steal if you target someone that's under fear. It's quite a nice little combo, actually. So, yeah. Noble, he still has, I will say, absolutely terrible base speed. And his base accuracy is not so good. He has nothing really to boost his accuracy. This is still a champion you would probably be building for damage. I think is more of his key. And with a bit of accuracy, that you're not going to be able to debuff enemies who've built for resistance, but you'll be able to absolutely be stealing and debuffing their damage dealers. Definitely he gets in trouble a bit with Stone Skin. Arman's can just sheep somebody. Noble's got nothing. So yeah, I'm curious about this one. I still feel like he's definitely going to be niche. He's not top end. I do think for Clan Siege, this guy could be kind of a monster for Clan Siege though. When you've got like very restricted stuff. Kind of insane. Again, whenever turn meter is reduced by any champion, I did see here that like yeah, you could put him with Lady Kimmy or Shu Zhen. Like that is a powerful combo within his faction. It's actually pretty good. Like Shu Zhen has AoE turn meter pushback, right? With decreased speed. The two of them together, very scary. Very scary. Again, Lady Kimmy, similar thing. She's doing turn meter pushback with her passive turn meter pushback. Her A1 is turn meter pushback. So lots of turn meter manipulators in this faction. I mean, Yumiko, her A1 is stealing turn meter as well. So Noble keeps having a chance to place fears every single time, regular fears, and then doing decent damage. It's actually quite decent. Yeah, I think it's quite decent. Again, it's much more limited to where you're doing Shadowkin only, and certainly within Shadowkin only, you're going up potentially against the Mythicals. But he becomes a lot better. Yeah, there's definitely some cool stuff you could do with that. Could be very helpful for trying to get through like Doom Tower waves as well. Any wave-based content as well. He could be very strong now. Yeah, very strong for wave-based content and like Curse City, that sort of thing too. Doom Tower. So nice buff. I'm intrigued. I will say I'm intrigued to see how good he ends up being, basically. I definitely don't think he makes it into like Classic Arena or Live Arena very often. I think you're rolling the dice with the fear, both in terms of placing it and in terms of it doing anything. And he's still like a squishy attack nuker, really. But he's a better champion. He's a better champion. So yeah, there we go. Those are the buffs. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the Summon Rush event. Like I said, it's a good Summon Rush. Hey, Kimmy and Shu Zhen are up. They're putting them in a progressive chance right before they fix up Noble. And yeah, as we said here, this rebalance will go live in the upcoming update. So probably next week or so, we should see that. Maybe a couple of weeks. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about all this stuff? Decent news. What did you think about the Mammoth CVC? My goodness, just absolutely bonkers. Bonkers numbers. One final thing to cover. Hang on. Okay. I had not touched on this because this was yesterday as well, right? This is crazy. So, a rather crucial Siege-related announcement. Due to a technical bug, Arena auras are working in Siege right now. This is not normal. Only all battle auras should work in Siege, but it cannot be fixed quickly. The upcoming battle phase of Siege will be affected, which means Arena auras will work. They will work, but it won't affect the next Siege. So not the upcoming one, right? We've got one coming up on Tuesday, Wednesday. That one, Arena auras will work, but they won't work for the one after that. So yeah, it means you're going to be building different teams this one. I think this is obviously, you know, it's a silly bug, and they told us as well before that, like, yeah, only all battles work, and then, oh, actually, whoops, it didn't. I think it's quite funny because when we were going, I mean, you saw my Siege fights and all my fights and going through the enemy Siege and all of that, and like, man, we were going like, man, these guys, they hadn't read up on it, and I think a lot of people made the mistake, because it was a mistake, because people didn't know about, they didn't really think about all battles. They're just thinking, oh, it's like an arena mode. Great. My arena aura is Arbiter. Saw so many freaking defenses in the clan we fought with like Arbiter. And we were going like, ha ha ha, you put your Arbiter in. That aura doesn't work, sir, you fool. You silly goose. Haha, I'm going to be so much faster than you. And we just did not cop on that, oh, it actually was working. I think how this was found out, I did hear that I think some people went in and they were like, oh, well, if I put in an arena aura, I'm faster than them. But if I switch it to a different aura, I'm not. Like if I put in a 30% arena aura, I'm faster. If I put in like a 20% all battles aura, I'm slower. But if only the all battles one works, that should be faster. So the arena one was working. I think that's how people figured it out, doing some testing. So that's ridiculous. So a bunch of people put in the wrong auras by accident in Siege because they didn't really think about it too much. But they were actually getting the better auras because arena auras are way stronger than all battle ones. So yeah, this does mean it's a pretty huge deal. You know, champions like Arbiter, Shu Zhen, etc. Become really strong. Obviously, Wukong, Armans, you got a lot of high-speed auras in there. So it does mean that this Siege and the first one, which we didn't realize, are going to be quite different in terms of team comps. Yeah, quite different. Quite different. But from the future, from the next Siege on, it won't be. So watch out. That's I'll be honest, out of all of the siege problems, I think this is a fairly small one. I think there's much worse problems with siege that need to be fixed as well. So hopefully they will fix some of that stuff, because my goodness, there's some really dumb stuff in there. But yeah, this does mean that the types of teams you're building are going to be quite different. Use your arena auras if they're more powerful for this upcoming siege, only the one that's in 4 days, 19 hours. They'll be very, very strong, both on offense and on defense, but it won't work after that. Yep, womp womp. Yep, yep. So there you go. There you go. Like I said, I think it's fun because I was trying to play it so smart, being like, yeah, I'm using my all battle speed auras, and like, oh, we could probably still outspeed them. Our clan was so much stronger than their clan, we just never realized. We were like, yeah, well, these all battle auras must be the ones that work, because we're beating these guys so much on speed, even though they were using like Arbiter and stuff. It is what it is. There you go. Lots of news. Let me know what you think about it all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.